here because I really appreciate and sharing for this beautiful, like brother said, sacred festival. Of all the festivals, I think this is, for me, the most sacred festival. And every time we celebrate, recently we did at our retreat center, we had maybe about 400 people that came for that. And I notice every year that we have this kind of celebration, there's something that happens to me. It is very emotional, it's very touching. And I can't explain why, and because we have all these celebrations, but it's something that happens. And I know, like he used the word sacred. It's a time with yourself, you're connecting with the source. And it's a personal, it is very intimate, it's very special. And so, like brother said, allow yourself to be in this beautiful, rich, powerful experience and feel that energy of this supreme, the energy of God with you. As the explanation of the bond of protection was given. And I also had the thought about there are various kinds of protection we need in this world. You never know what can happen any moment. As soon as you step outside, what can happen? Or we talk about the different kind of dangers that exist even within ourselves. So this sacred ceremony is to empower us so that we are able to have the power to be stronger. And for us, we call ourselves BKs. Even though we celebrate the Raksha Bandhan festival every year, but then you can ask the question, so why again? You already celebrated last year. Why you have to celebrate again? So there is meaning and there is purpose and intent in sharing this festival, because as a human being, we still have a long way to go. And we want to reach our goal. We want to reach our destination. And for that, we have to look at our self-progress. So the way I was last year or last month or last week, I would have recognized that and changed some of those things. Yeah. So if you see someone who has done something bad or said something bad to you, so the practice is to develop pure thought for that person. That's the practice. So now when I see that person, I'm not thinking about all the things he said or he did. I'm seeing something that's very positive about that person. This is called Raksha Bandhan, changing everything within myself. My thoughts, my words, my interactions, my relationships, my connections, my everything. And this is not a one-day experience or even a one-week experience. It is every single day to notice what you did that was not right, or what you said that was not right, or how you interacted with person. So it's always checking and changing. Check and change. And so if we keep doing that, then ultimately we will reach to our destination. We want to be flawless. We want to be pure. I like the word pure because it's something that is not tainted with any other things. Like when you see a little child, what you see? The purity and the innocence and the beauty of that soul. So we want to return back to that stage of purity and innocence. And this is what this whole celebration is about. Not to get stuck, but to keep moving forward and to reach the destination so that ultimately we can become pure once again. So it's a celebration with God, with the divine. to invoke that presence of God. And we need that presence in our life because we, as human being, can't do it. We need that power to guide us, to help us, to protect us at all level, at every moment. And there's so many amazing stories, real stories of how God protects. Actually, there was a question someone asked, and the person said, well, all the bad things that are happening in the world, where is God? Any one of you have an answer? Is he sleeping? Doesn't he know what's going on? He's not there. Anyone has an answer? Where is God? Why some people don't feel that he protects? This is real life situation. Any answer? And all the answers are correct anyhow, so don't be scared. Where is God? God is here. Okay, that's good. That comes from your faith and your belief. Yes. You know, the saying goes, if you believe in something, you will see it. Some people say, no, I must see it first, then I will believe. If you believe the faith, then you're going to be able to experience it. So in the world where so many things and complications are happening, of course, we know that's another subject of karma involved in people's lives. But also the stories I've heard and experiences is that God protects those who have faith in him. You may not know him as he is exactly, but you have faith that there's a God and he'll protect, then that happens. So when they had this big war that was taking place with the Gaza, and I was looking for what is called a very uplifting story. I always like to research and look for those stories that can be very inspiring. And one of that story was about how God protected this person. And the protection was that when the house that she lived in was invaded by all these gunmen and they were shooting everything. And you know, in all those buildings, they have what is called as a safe room, which is she had a safe room like in one corner of the building, in the building. And she said, you know, there was like a little peephole you can look through. So she saw everything. And they were standing right next to the door. But it was as if they didn't see the door, as if they didn't see anything. They came, they looked around, and then they left. So there are such amazing stories in the world. And I always feel it's because of our faith. If we believe, if we have faith, if we really trust, then God, why would he not help us? We are his children. We are his creation, right? We are his creation. He is our supreme father. So he definitely would help us. So this whole experience is not just for today. This whole experience is for us to think about. It's for our whole lifetime. Because we need that power. We need that strength. We need support from God at every moment. And they say the remembrance of God, it's like a sheen around you. Those who remember God, it's like you're being protected by the sheen of light. So even if someone has a bad intention or whatever thoughts they're having, it's that you will be protected in that moment. Either you have the thought of what to do in the moment, or you're able to protect yourself by moving away because you receive the strength and you receive the courage, you receive the power. So when we think of our life, we think also of protection, bond of protection. But also I was having the thought that for us to have that bond of protection, we have to be able to remove all the bondages. And I like what Sarabhai said about it starts with us. right? So in us, they say there is a world bigger inside of us, bigger than the outside world. Have you ever visited that world that you have inside of you? This big, huge world. You'll see a gallery of many, many images and pictures and feelings and emotions and thoughts and many, many things in there. And those who believe in past life experiences, can you imagine what you're carrying in the soul? So many stories, so many experiences in that energy of which is called the soul. So sometimes we notice the way we behave as human beings. Sometimes we wonder, why am I thinking like this? Why am I behaving like this? I tell you a story. There was this guy who came to the center, and this was some years ago, and he said, I want to learn to meditate. And he said, I want to learn to meditate because something happened. And now I'm discovering like I am a different person. So he said he invited a plumber, or he asked a plumber to come fix something in his kitchen. The plumber came and they had some kind of conversation. Then they got into an argument. And the next thing he just grabbed one of the knives that were there. He said, I didn't believe I was doing that. Where did that come from? So talking about what we have in our world, that we can be prompted to do many things from inside. It comes out. Like some people say, I didn't intend to be angry, but I got angry and I did this and I did that. Where is that coming from? Right? Good people, have you read? Good people doing bad things. Where is that coming from? So in our world, we carry all these traits of negativity and, all kinds of feelings about other people and so many stories. And of course, in our lifetime, things do happen and the impressions are there. It doesn't matter where you go. Like some people say, let's go on a holiday. They go on a holiday, but the memories are with them. They still remember all the things. So how do I erase and remove all these memories? Especially in meditation, people say, I sit to meditate, but so many things come in my mind. How do you remove that? So through the power of purity and meditation, it replaces something that's positive, something that's very uplifting inside of you. So you don't have to worry about all the defects you have and the weaknesses, and you start thinking about that. But you focus on that which is positive. And meditation, as we know, it's a link, the soul connecting to the Supreme Soul. And that is a power that is received. And that power erases, removes, right? Because the being inside is very subtle. Like people go to the sacred rivers and they go and they take a bath and they think they're being cleansed. So how do you cleanse the soul? You can clean the body with water. How do you clean the soul? It's through the power of meditation, which is like a shower. You feel you're being purified, sanctified, renewed. And what you start noticing, and this is also part of an experience of a yogi and many yogis, is that vice or those negative things that were really, really strong in you, whether it's a bad habit or any of the tendency you had, it's no longer showing up. So gradually it fades away. It fades away. But this comes with the practice. The more you're practicing, it helps to remove all these impurities. It's called the impurities that we have accumulated. And in this world, like, as soon as you wake up, some people hear the news or they have conversation. So everything from the outside world go inside of our world. One time someone said to me, I get very angry when I read the news. And I said, well, don't read the news. Easy. Stop reading the news, stop listening. But he said, what we live in a world, we have to know. You need to know, but you don't need to know everything. Because remember, it's what you're putting inside of you, like the kind of movie you watch, the kind of interaction you have, everything is going inside of you. And you don't know how to take it out. And it disturbs your sleep. Your mental health, your physical health, everything is affected. So, this power of meditation is a cleansing process, and it takes practice, it takes discipline, it takes effort. I have to be ready to do or to commit sometime every day for a spiritual practice. There is no other way out, no other way. So, this is how you are able to protect yourself from yourself by using that which is filled with wisdom and positivity. And gradually you start transforming and transforming and changing. And if you look back at yourself, you see what a different person you are. So it's a work in progress. And of course, it's based on spiritual wisdom and understanding, which is given through our teachings of Raj Yoga. Also, we know in the world, as soon as you step outside, you hear people talking all kinds of things, you see all kinds of behavior in the working environment. People say, I can't be there because, the colleagues and everyone misbehaves. It's everywhere. Even if you leave one country and go to another country, you'll still see fighting, arguments, conflicts. It's everywhere. And sometimes what happens is that the soul absorbs all these negative energy, what people are saying, what people are doing. So we become like the sponges. We absorb everything. So the outside world go inside of us. So again, this practice of meditation helps to change or transform our attitude. Our inner world is transformed. So if we see anything bad that's happening out there, we don't see it as something bad. We know, we are aware, but our vision has been changed. And I remember this from a yogi I had met many, many years ago. And she was saying, every time I go for a walk along the street, I would, even if she see a plant, she will see something positive about that plant. If she see an animal, she will see something positive. So she has learned this art of seeing. She's still aware this world, the state of the world, but she choose not to bring that into her mind. So how to keep the mind clean and pure. So we still have to live in the world. We still have to interact with people. And, there are people we say, oh, they will never change. They're miserable. They're horrible. I want nothing to do with this person. Have you met anyone like that? This person, I don't want to see that person anymore. One thing we know for a fact, we cannot change people. So no matter how much you beat your head up, you cannot change another person, but you can inspire them to change. And if they don't want to change, what can you do? So creating all these waste thoughts and negative thoughts about the person, he's like this, she's like this, you're wasting your time. They will be who they want to be, right? We cannot reprogram their mind unless they are ready to be reprogrammed. So understanding really, they say knowledge is light. That is a true wisdom. It brings an enlightenment. And when there is an enlightenment, you know what you need to do. And that, whatever you're practicing, will also be helpful to other person. So their behavior will not affect you. Whatever is happening in the world is happening anyhow. So no point getting upset. It's because you're using the spiritual tool of wisdom to understand. So Raksha Bandhan, protecting yourself from your influences, protecting from others, because you may meet people who can influence you. And I remember the story of one guy. He said a very good friend came to him and asked to borrow some money. And they had some conversation, and he said, oh, working from emotional space. He said, okay, give him a lump sum of money. This was supposed to be his best friend. And what happened is that after some time, he was not getting back his money. And this is a person who's supposed to know, because he had the basic information, the understanding of knowledge. But when you are influenced, and that's where I'm coming to, when you're influenced, influence is that you are not using your discernment power. You don't know what is right, what is wrong, what is good, what is bad. So in that moment, then your weaknesses show up, and then you get caught into a situation. And because you get caught into a situation, then you suffer the consequences. So in meditation, you are able to acquire that power. The purity that comes also helps with the power of discernment. Because in life, every moment, you have to be aware of your surroundings. You have to be able to perceive what is right, what is wrong, what is good, what is bad, what I should do, what I should not do. Because if I make one mistake, the consequence of that one mistake can be there for many, many, many years. And some people tell me, they say, I wish I would have made the right choices in life. I don't have to suffer for the whole life. So this comes with the power of purity and meditation, where it cleans your inside. And that's why this is such a sacred ceremony. It is reclaiming back your power of truth, the power in the soul. So Raksha Bandhan, we know for a fact it's very ceremonial. You know, you have, where's the Rakhi? Didn't have one here. But the Rakhi is where, you know, you tie it. You tie that sacred thread. So this is just symbolic for those of you who have never had this. It is very symbolic. I think in the olden days, they never had like this fancy thing. They used to have just maybe a little band or something. And a priest used to tie that on the person for protection. So this sacred thread, it has here the symbol of a light. And the light is a symbol of God, God the Supreme. He is the supreme light, the light of all lights, the light that is never contaminated, the light that never becomes impure. The light of God shines forever. We are the one who gets contaminated and become impure. But that soul, supreme soul, is forever, eternally very pure. So this story of Raksha Bandhan, where it is believed and it's a practice amongst the Hindus to have, you know, the sister ties this Rakhi on her brother, right? That he will protect her. So if my brother is 2 years old and I'm an adult, and how can he protect me? Think about it. Or if my brother is in another country and I need protection, how will that work? So it's symbolic. Of course, it's giving respect and reverence, but in reality, it means that only God can protect you in your situation, no one else. So tying this Rakhi is sacred because it's and today all of you will have one of this. But it's not just tying it. I want you to think of what commitment you want to make in yourself, what you want to change, what's something new that you would like to do in yourself. Think about it. We'll have a few moments to reflect. It's not just tying something and Om Shanti and that's it, program was well and you go home. No, it is a commitment. It's a commitment for yourself. You don't even have to tell anyone what you're committing to. But what it is you see that you want to be more determined in doing in your life that's positive, whether for yourself or others. And think of that, and then you will get the power that God is going to give you, that power and that strength. That is one commitment, your personal, but also to be inclusive and to bring him into the picture. that he is going to be with me. And that is whether you're having your meals, whether you're walking, whatever you're doing, spend a moment to connect. So this looks very simple. Now, there's a story that many, many years ago, um, in the country I was brought up in Guyana, South America, we had this huge program of Raksha Bandhan. And in that program, many people had their Rakhis tied. So this young lady, she came and she told me what happened. She got her Rakhi tied, okay? Very beautiful looking Rakhi. And the program had finished like late in the evening. So she had to go home, and walking into the dark streets to go home. I was alone. So she wasn't thinking anything. She was just walking along the street. And suddenly a car pulled up with all these men. I think they were drunk or something. And then they saw her, and in the moment, she somehow her attention went on this Rakhi on her hand. And she said she felt that it glowed, like there was a message coming to her, telling her to run, go for safety. And she did exactly that. So what she was sharing with me, she said, I feel that this Rakhi protected my life. So it's not just something tying on your hand, but it's symbolic that on these moments of life, which we never know what can happen, even if your intentions are good, but to protect from influences is to keep that energy of God with you all the time. Yes. So Raksha Bandhan, protecting from negative influence, protecting from yourself, protecting from the world. There's so many things you need protection with. And the best form of protection is when you wake up in the morning and you connect. Spend 5 minutes in meditation, connect. And start your day in silence and in a positive way. Because the 5 minutes that you do will not only protect you, but it will help you throughout the day. Even if some situation happen, then that will give you power and strength to go through whatever it is that you have to go through. It doesn't involve anything, no expense. 5 minutes. Some people say, I don't have time. That means you don't have time for your own life. 5 minutes. I mean, when you look at the show, how long it takes? Like few hours, especially a nice movie. So how much time you're wasting there in a sense? So as human beings, sometimes we have all these excuses. I can't do this. I can't do that. Do you have time? That's the first thing you say. I have time. Make time. And see in your personal life, you will see lots of changes, amazing changes that will happen. So connecting and refilling the self with that power of truth and bringing that into our being. So the bond of protection, as we tie it, we commit to make some commitment. But also it is, I feel it has to do with enhancing our relationships in life. Because relationship is a very, very big thing. And not everyone has great relationships with people. Either they are the problem or I am the problem. So to enhance our relationship in a very positive way, we practice what is called to have the brotherly outlook, vision, to see each one as a soul. Each one is a soul. You are my brother's soul. As a sister, you are a soul. So there is no discrimination. What practice you have, what's your religion, what's your background, what's your anything, your status. I'm not seeing all of that. This practice of brotherhood, it develops respect for each other. And I believe if all religions could cultivate this one practice, seeing anyone, any background that they are my brother's soul, then the world would be in a better place. It's only when we become conscious of the physical body We say, I'm from this race or that background or this, whatever. But rising above all of that is seeing each one as a soul, very special soul, children of God. All of us are children of God. So having the brotherly outlook for any soul changes the way I see that person. So it's called having soul conscious vision. And thirdly is to also the to maintain in our life the purity. Purity is a power. Purity, everybody likes when something is pure. It's not tainted with anything else. It's clean, it's pure, it's unaffected. So that's how we want our hearts to be, clean and pure. And with that comes with the power from God. I can clean my heart. Like they say, clean the heart space. Some people have broken hearts. Say, you broke my heart. How did it break your heart? You still have a heart. Or my heart is not good, or this one has a bad heart. How do you know that? Because heart is a emotional, the seat of the soul, the emotions of the soul. It's not the physical heart. This is a pumping organ. It is reference of being the soul, as a soul, how I could make all these changes in my heart so that it can be clean, it can be pure, and only God has the power to give me that back what I've lost, my honor and my dignity, which is purity. And the basis for prosperity in life is purity. If there is purity in my thoughts, my words, my actions, my relationship, my behavior, if there is pure intent, then definitely with that purity comes power. I become very powerful, in a sense, strong internally. It's something that we all want, we aspire for, to have clean thoughts, pure thoughts, good vision, to be compassionate, to be kind, to be merciful, to help each other, to love. But all of that come from within the space of purity, which is represented by this lotus flower, to be pure. And the picture that is at the back with the yogi sitting and meditating on the light, it cleaned the inside, right? Because God is known as a purifier, pure fire. So when you're sitting in remembrance of God, He's doing something. He's purifying you, cleaning you, making you shiny. And how you know you're being purified? Because you would notice that the way you used to behave, you're no longer behaving like that. Or the kind of thoughts you used to have, everything has changed. Many people who have been practicing meditation, they say, before I used to have this bad habits, I used to be on drugs, I used to do this, I used to curse a lot, I give you an example. There was one person who came to the meditation center, tall guy, American guy. And he came and his friend told him to come and, listen to something good. So this was many years ago. So he came, he sat, and then we spoke about the soul and what is a soul and God and all of that. And this huge guy, he started like tearing up. And he told me about his life. He said, I was on the run. The cops were always looking for me because he said, I came out from abusive family. I don't know where my parents went, but I was handed down to different people and my life was very chaotic. And he was married and he has a child, I think. He had a child, but he had no connection with his family. He was always doing something, going here, stealing, doing something. So cops were always looking out for him. But the time he came to the meditation center and he listened to these words, and he really felt quite emotional because he said to me, I always knew I was a good person. Deep inside, I know I'm a good person, but I can't help myself on the outside because of the friends or whoever. And from that day, he started coming to take the lessons of meditation. Amazing results, amazing results. Totally transformed. He connected back with his family. He started to take different courses online or wherever he went. Then he got himself a good job. Even the UN office, he was a guard there. But he started like progressing in his life, different classes and sessions. And today he has a beautiful home. He's with his family. He's very happy. And he said, it's your Baba, because we call God Baba. Baba means father. So never underestimate the power of thought. If we are ready for transformation, it can happen. But we have to be ready for that. And many times we make excuses. We're not ready, not today, tomorrow, sometime when I get older, when my grandchild is married, when so many things, we go on and on and on. Think about your life. Your life is your life, your personal life. As much as you have your responsibility, which you can't run away from, but your life is your own. You're responsible for you. So we have to take that responsibility and to fill that with newness and to have a vision of not, when you ask someone, how are you doing? He said the same old thing. What does that mean? Or some people say, life is dragging on. We have to move from that awareness. If my world inside is changed, everything will change on the outside. Right? So life shouldn't be like boring, like you use the word, it's boring. Nothing is boring. You are boring. Because if you see things with that newness or your attitude is changed, you will see everything differently in your life. Right? And life has a meaning, life has a purpose. And there were people who regretted at the last moment. Something happened, they became ill, and that's it, Om Shanti. And they say, I wish I would have done this, but no point. What can you do then? Right? So now we are in the body, we're still alive, we still have a moment, still have a chance to make a difference in our life. And so this is what Raksha Bandhan is all about. Make some internal commitment, bring the presence of God into your life, and feel that He's going to protect you every day of your life. And when you connect with Him, He's going to give you the power to make the right decisions. So that's what we're going to be celebrating. So you're going to have this Rakhi tied on your right hand, on your wrist. And also we're going to apply a tilak. Are we doing the tilak? Yes. So the tilak, like some of you have a little dot here. So this is the seat of the soul in the center of the forehead, which people call the third eye. So do you know you have three eyes? You have three eyes, but one is the eye of wisdom. It's the eye of knowledge. And that's why when people go to meditate, they meditate for a long time so that this eye can open up. It's the eye of awareness. It's the eye of understanding. It's the eye of wisdom. So when someone is telling you something, let's say, and then you're listening to them and you say, oh, now I see what you're saying. You're not seeing anything. You've understood what they're saying. You've understood, which means your eye of awareness is open. So that's what it means. The more you're able to open this third eye, you will see the things that your two eyes cannot see. It's our eye of awareness, eye of wisdom, eye of power. So the little dot you will be having is just to remind you that I am not this shell. This body is called shell. I am more than this body. Body perishes. But as a soul, the soul remains forever. Isn't that a nice feeling? You will never die. You'll never die. Believe in that? You will never die. And that's the fact. So it's a reminder that I am imperishable. Nothing can happen to me. It will happen to the body because the body belongs to the earth. It has to go back there. But you as a soul will remain forever. And that's a beautiful experience. And then also you'll be given a sweet, which is to make your life sweet. Always remember. Sweet means that remind yourself that no one has the power and authority to take me away from my seat of self-respect. You know, sometimes people come and they're angry and they start getting angry. And then you look at them and you also start getting angry. Like if you're on your seat of self-respect, and they can behave however they want to behave, but when you are in your seat of self-respect, you're not going to move out from there. You get angry, you do what you want. I will stay in my self-respect. So this is what it means to have that tilak of awareness and to think of who you are in a meaningful way. So that's what our celebration would be like today. So with these few words, I say thank you. Any question? No? So I guess we're going to set up. Maybe we can have a bit of meditation just for a few minutes. And in these few minutes, maybe 2, 3 minutes, you can think of what you want to commit to in your life to make a difference. What is it you want to change? Maybe we can have a bit of music quietly. Take a few moments to go inside of yourself. Be with yourself. And in the sacred silence,